We journey in spiritual worlds using our mind and imagination. We do not use our feet. This means that if we want to accept Baha'u'llah's invitation to journey into the spiritual worlds, then we need to learn how to use our mind and imagination in ways that allow for spiritual travel. In my book, Paradise of Presence, I explain that Baha'u'llah has made reading his writings central to his religion, and that he did this so that a person might, through this reading, enter spiritual realms and gain mystical insight into God. Below, I outline 4 principles associated with spiritual travel through reading Baha'u'llah's writings. 1. We must walk our own spiritual path. 2. The goal of the spiritual path is to connect with Baha'u'llah. 3. We connect with Baha'u'llah by reading his writings. 4. We must read Baha'u'llah's writings twice a day. As you see, the principles are not complicated. In fact, they make perfect sense when they are laid out in an easy-to-understand way. Anyone can journey in spiritual worlds if they choose to do so. However, most people do not follow through on this because it requires a person to detach from the world. What people do not realise is that they cannot be in 2 places at once. If they want to enter mystical worlds, then they cannot be in the physical world at the same time. A person who is dreaming is not at the same time awake in the physical world. It is a matter of one world or the other. Principle 1. We must walk our own spiritual path. Walking our own path is fundamental to the spiritual path that Baha'u'llah outlines. Each person must determine for themselves the truth of a matter and follow only what they have found as a result of that search. Baha'u'llah forbids people to blindly follow others. In other words, to take another person's word for something and run with that. Similarly, a person must find and then follow their own spiritual path. This is very important because some people use religion and spirituality to take advantage of others and to subject them to their rigid ideas. They tell people not to listen to themselves, but only to those who know best. Baha'u'llah was totally against that. For example, he says, "Never surrender the reins of your insight into the hands of anyone else." Surah of Sacrifice, paragraph 11. When you are dreaming, is there anyone else there with you, telling you what to think and what to do? No, you dream alone. The same principle applies when you travel in spiritual worlds. You go by yourself. The structure of reality prevents any other soul from interfering. Therefore, in order to embark on any sort of spiritual travel, you have to be free to go on your own. Principle 2. The goal of the spiritual path is to connect with Baha'u'llah. The goal of Baha'u'llah's spiritual path is to recognize him as the current divine spokesperson and to achieve mystical knowledge into his mysterious, infinite reality. In doing so, a person forms an abiding connection with him. In Arabic hidden word number 16, Baha'u'llah states that getting in touch with him constitutes the essence of what he is asking people to do. Child of light, forget all but me and delight in conversation with my spirit. This is of the essence of my command, so turn towards it. Arabic hidden word number 16, my translation. Baha'u'llah sees the spiritual path in terms of the classic story of the lover searching for the beloved. This story is all about the heart and the search after one's greatest love. Some people think that the goal of spirituality and religion is more like an arranged marriage, where people follow the path they are told to follow and ignore the dream of their heart. But Baha'u'llah says that the goal of the journey is for the seeker to find fulfillment of their personal destiny through union with him. Baha'u'llah himself is the perfect example of this. He wrote many works in which he describes his encounters with the divine Houri, who was his beloved, with bone-chilling tenderness. For example, see Tablet of the Houri. No whiff of an arranged marriage there, believe me. Principle 3. We connect with Baha'u'llah by reading his writings. The way to connect one's inner self with that of Baha'u'llah is to read his writings. The following quote is a clear example of Baha'u'llah's call for people to deeply penetrate his words. Immerse yourselves in the ocean of my words, that ye may unravel its secrets and discover all the pearls of wisdom that lie hid in its depths. Kitab-i-Aqdas, paragraph 182. In order to faithfully read Baha'u'llah's writings, a person must go somewhere quiet and completely shut out the world. They then go into their inner dream space, a contemplative or meditative state where they listen to Baha'u'llah's narrative voice and identify completely with his experience. In this state, they participate in Baha'u'llah's illusions and imagery and thereby become intimately connected to him. The following hidden word illustrates Baha'u'llah's characteristic narrative voice with its elusive, metaphorical and mystical language. The vivid images challenge the reader's mind and imagination, enticing the person to reach toward his meaning. O my brother, hearken to the delightsome words of my honeyed tongue, and quaff the stream of mystic holiness from my sugar-shedding lips. Sow the seeds of my divine wisdom in the pure soil of thy heart, and water them with the water of certitude, that the hyacinths of my knowledge and wisdom may spring up fresh and green in the sacred city of thy heart. Persian hidden word 33. This hidden word is characteristic of the rich texture of Baha'u'llah's writings. His purpose is to encourage readers to contemplate the imagery deeply so they can decide for themselves what it might mean. The imagery varies for each person, depending on their experience and personality. For the purpose of helping readers to familiarise themselves with Baha'u'llah's language, I paraphrase the hidden word here, but I emphasise that this is just one way of looking at it. The meaning is without limit. Baha'u'llah is asking the reader to listen to his beautiful words and to drink the mystic waters that come from those words via his sweet lips. He counsels the reader to plant the seeds of meaning in the purity of their heart and water them with the mystic stream of his words, so that they might flower brightly within the person's innermost mystic self. These are Baha'u'llah's instructions on how to read his writings. Principle 4. We must read Baha'u'llah's writings twice a day. Given the above, it is possible to see why Baha'u'llah asks people to read his writings every morning and evening. If the journey is all about connecting with him through his words, then we need to do this regularly. Otherwise, no union will occur. It would be like trying to have a relationship with someone but being too busy to talk to them. Baha'u'llah requires that people put in the necessary quality time if they are sincere about seeking his attention. Having said that, the task should not become a chore. The important thing is to read so as to become inspired. Recite ye the verses of God every morn and eventide, in such measure that ye be not overcome by languor and despondency. Kitab Yaqtas, paragraph 149. To someone who is not used to reading religious texts, the idea of sitting in private, reading Baha'u'llah's words, and communing with his narrative voice may seem like a peculiar self-indulgence and, frankly, a waste of time if one is interested in helping the world. However, Baha'u'llah assures us that, over time, reading his writings will have a positive influence on us as readers, as well as every righteous person. The sweetness of his melody sets the reader's heart on fire and attracts the hearts of everyone. Therefore, despite the apparent solitary nature of reading, its effect does inspire others and spread throughout the world.